Fox News alert right now. Overnight, the U.S. and U.K. launching a massive coalition attack against the Houthis in Yemen. As the country erupts into protests, the Iran-backed rebel group says they are not going to back down. They're going to attack us, they claim. This call comes as Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin, still in the hospital, the Pentagon confirming Austin and Biden have spoken just twice over the last 2 days. Let's bring in the ranking member of the Senate Armed Services Committee and Air Force veteran himself, fresh off a visit to Saudi Arabia and the region. Senator Lindsey Graham, welcome.
Thank you.
From what you could tell, can you tell people at home the significance of this attack? Was it a strong one?
It was strong. It was the most significant to date, but it won't change the problem. Won't change the equation. The Iranians could care less how many Houthis die, how many people from Hamas die. You'll never get Iran through their proxies to back off until you hit Iran.
So you're saying that even though we had 60 strikes at locations that were pretty significant, you don't think we've changed anything?
No, I don't. Unless you hit Iran. Now, what did Trump do? He killed Soleimani, the head of the Iran Revolutionary Guard, with a lot of American blood on his hand. When he killed that guy in Iraq, Iran went back in a box. He put sanctions on Iran. He made the Houthis a state sponsor of terrorism on the terrorist watch list. Biden reversed all these policies at the border in the Mideast, and you'll never get stability back in the Mideast until you tell Iran, we're going to hit you if you keep using these people against us.
In the meanwhile, we need to use the Red Sea. Have we done anything to diminish their capabilities to hit our ships?
Well, we do have we have ships, military ships in the Red Sea, but people in the shipping business are very afraid to go back to the Red Sea because we haven't destroyed the Houthis' capability to terrorize the Red Sea. But this was a significant strike to those who participated in it. You're brave people. Thank you very much. But to the Biden administration, when will you realize that nothing's going to change until you tell the Ayatollah, if you keep hitting us, keep going after Israel, we're coming after you. I'm not talking about invading Iran. They're a oil-rich nation. Knock out some of their refineries.
Right, and you give them a heads up, you blow it up, and you send the message. Senator, we watched the Secretary of Defense Austin, the most bizarre situation ever. It's really since December 22nd. He's had health problems. January 1st, he goes in. There was no deputy that was alerted. There was no chief of staff that took over. How do you explain this?
System failure. It's irresponsible. I'm glad he's doing better. I want him to recover. But, you know, Mayorkas and Austin have failed this nation. Our border is complete chaos. Withdrawing from Afghanistan set in motion what you see today, being weak in the eyes of the Iranians. The October 7th attack against Israel by Hamas was designed to stop the peace process between Saudi Arabia and Israel, and we're weak in the eyes of our enemies. But this idea of being down for 2 or 3 days and not telling the president you were diagnosed with prostate cancer is a breach of the chain of command.
It's not only how do you run a country with no control of the Pentagon?
You can't.
You have 15 minutes if a nuclear strike is about to come.
Terrible judgment on the part of, I hope he recovers, of General Austin. We're having an election here this year. I hope people wake up. Now, what the hell is this all about? The Houthis, Hamas, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, they have one thing in common. They're on a religious mission from God to destroy the state of Israel and come after us. To those who say, I'm tired of endless wars, well, tell them to give up their religious quest to dominate the world. So Al-Qaeda, Hamas, the Ayatollah are religious fanatics. You're not going to get them to stop. You better hit them over there before they hit you here. So I'm tired of being told by people, we got to get out of endless wars. They're going to keep coming after us until we stop them.
I'm just going to tell you, the one thing different from the war on terror is I'm watching protests for Yemen outside the White House and at Times Square for the Hamas and the Palestinians at every major artery in New York City. I can't get my head around it. What happened?
Well, the world's upside down. Israel's the bad guy. So one thing
they're not.
Well, they're not. But in the eyes of the world, they're becoming the bad guy. Donald, do you think any of this would happen if President Trump were president? No. Russia would not go into Ukraine. I am confident Iran would have stayed in a box. The Houthis would not have done this. They would not be attacking our shipping. So the one thing I hope people will think about, we've got a lot of good candidates in the Republican primary. There is one man who has a record equal to Ronald Reagan, and that is Donald Trump. He did secure the border. We were energy independent. The bad guys were on the run. Everybody says, I want Trump policy without the drama. There are no Trump policies without the man, Donald Trump.
Well, yeah, for the first time in my lifetime, we have two track records to compare.
Totally.
Instead of two candidates.
Yeah, were you better off then or now?
Senator Lindsey Graham, we're better off that you came in. Thanks so much for stopping in.
God
and now
bless.
go do your fundraising in New York.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.